They say knowing is power. Some things I'd rather not know. Rats sneaking round my house. Ex, but he can't leave you alone. I know a little too much. I know a little too much.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. Studios in Lake George, New York, on a snowy Thursday morning. Glad you could join us. Good morning, good day, good evening. You know the schmeal. Hope you're doing all right, blah, blah, blah. Got a busy show scheduled for you today. Don't forget the show's being brought to you in part by Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. If you're looking for a limousine and you're located someplace in the U.S., and we have a strong European listener and viewer base, so I don't want you giving my girl Kat a call if you're out in London, because I don't know if she can handle that. Maybe. But right now she's focusing on the United States of America. And if you do need a limo, you need to give my girl Kat a call. The number's 202-351-7496 for limo. Great service. Beautiful woman. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. Give her a call, 202-351-7496. And, of course, if you need an attorney, whether it's real estate, matrimonial, criminal, wills, if you want to leave me all your money, give Campanera and Tom, give it a call, 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. And, of course, my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Give them a call, 518-792-4869. That's 792-4869. If you're looking to make a reservation for a great meal, they always have some drink specials there. And some great people to hang out with. Big screen TVs everywhere, so you can watch any sporting event, including boxing on Friday nights with us. That's right. Yours truly and the better people of the Billy C. Boxing.com network and, of course, the show. We're going to be there on Friday nights to, watch Friday night fights at the Halftime Bar and Grill. There's always something going on. We're going to be giving stuff away. And this week's fight is going to be a good one, man. Real good. How about Tion Kennedy against Christopher Martin? I'm looking forward to that one. And we're going to be at the halftime, so make sure you swing by. As is the case with anybody that's coming in from out of town and you want to hang with us, first of all, for doing so, we're going to give you something just for showing up. Just for showing up. You don't even have to get a question right to get a prize. Just make sure you come on over and talk to us. The second thing is we want you to have a good time, but we don't want you to get behind the wheel after you had a couple of too many drinks. Honestly, you shouldn't even get behind the wheel after one drink. So if you're going to come up, please drop us an email. We'll hook you up with some hotel information, and we would love to have you stay and get a ride to and from the halftime and hang out with us and have some fun so we can party. So we'll have a good time. Check it out this week, tomorrow, at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Give them a call, 518-792-4869. Scheduled to join us a little later on the show, Keith Tessera, with our feature fighter, which is going to be Mustafa Hamshaw. So we'll see what goes on with that. Keith will tell us about that. Hopefully, I don't know what the weather is like in Arkansas, where Keith's calling from, but I know it's a little snowy here in upstate New York. That's for sure. And speaking of New York, we've got a great show going on at the Times Union Center in Albany on February 4th. It's a Saturday. Make your plans now. Come on up and see Joe the Future Hanks. He's an undefeated heavyweight. A lot of people say he's following the path of Iron Mike Tyson. He's 18-0 right now, and he's going to be coming to a place that Mike Tyson fought at the Times Union Center. Now, it used to be called the Pepsi Arena, so anybody that may have went up to Albany to see Mike Tyson back in the day, and you're saying to yourself, I never heard of the Times Union Center. It used to be called the Pepsi Arena. It's the Times Union Center now. Great place to see some fights. We're going to be giving tickets away beginning, I think, tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I may even give tickets away today. And we got some great seats, man. None of these cheap seats. We got some middle-tier seats for this event that's taking place on the 4th. So, the best thing to do is come on up to the Halftime Bar and Grill. That's where we're going to give away the majority of the tickets. So you got to be there. You got to be in it to win it, right? You got to be in it to win it. So make sure you get the information about the event that's taking place on February 4th at the Times Union Center. Star Boxing's putting it on. As a matter of fact, you can go to our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the fight poster. It's right there on the front page. That'll direct you right to Star Boxing's website where you can get some information on tickets and blah, blah, blah. All that happy stuff. Actually, that poster will link you to the Times Union box office so you can buy tickets directly. You can get them directly. Don't pass go. Just get it, man. Just get it. You don't even have to worry about pass and go. You can just get the tickets directly. Click it on the BillyCBoxing.com website. And also on the site, you could get a great deal on the February 11th card. That's taking place up in Mississauga, Ontario, in Canada. Young Guns. What a card that's going to be. Here's the thing. I keep reaching out to the promoter to give us an updated fight post. He hasn't done it. Dragging his feet. So take advantage of the $10. That's right, $10 tickets, man. They're selling $35 tickets for $10. It was a special that was only supposed to last a month. But since they're still advertising it, take advantage of it, man. Go up to our website and do it, www.billycboxing.com. And by the way, if you're looking to get a VIP table, the best seats in the house, I know that you get special service and all that stuff. You got to email sales@unitedpromotions.ca. Make sure you tell them Billy C sent you. I mean, that's the key here. Sales@unitedpromotions.ca and .ca. Car, Apple. Sales@unitedpromotions.ca. And make sure you tell them Billy C sent you. And here's the best part. Tell them that you want Billy C sitting at your VIP table. How about that? Man? But anyway, I got a couple of mailbags to read. We got some update on some Mayweather Pacquiao news. And speaking of which, we changed our poll question. And it was just put up. I want you guys to set your homepage to BillyCBoxing.com. I don't think you're going to regret it, man. I challenge any other website to really be up to date as much as we are. I mean, we're right up there with all the other ones. All the sites that you're used to going to for news and boxing information and all that stuff, you could get at BillyCBoxing.com. And, I mean, let's face it, if you listen to the show every day, you're going to get it all anyway. So we pretty much cover everything. The only stuff that we're not going to cover is stuff that didn't take place yet, right? We'll cover that tomorrow. But anyway, new poll question, who's to blame for the no Manny Pacquiao-Floyd Mayweather fight? 4 choices. And right now, early out of the gate, 25% of you think Floyd Mayweather's to blame. 25% of you think Manny Pacquiao's to blame. 50% of you think Bob Arum's to blame, and 0% of you think Billy C's to blame. Yeah, I guess they threw up me. I blame me for everything. But hey, forgot to mention the music you heard prior to our intro. Tweed Funk is our featured artist this week. The song you heard is "I Know," by Tweed Funk. It's being sponsored by radiosubmit.com. So check that out if you're an artist and you're looking to possibly get your stuff on the radio, at least on our show. Join radiosubmit.com. The other thing I wanted to mention is the book club. Don't forget about that. We got the Clay Moyle new book is out there, so check that one out. Get signed copies, all that stuff. Also, the Ali and Me. Remember, I was telling you about Rich Koletsky. Rich Koletsky did a presentation at the Billy C. Boxing Hall of Fame last year, and did a great job. His book is available, cut right price, man. I think it's delivered. I think signed, sealed, delivered, autographed, personalized, everything, $20. So you can't beat that. Check that one out as well. Don't forget about being involved in our chat room, getting involved with that. The mailbags, keep them coming. I got a few to read today. The mobile application, if you want to listen to the show on your cell phone or whatever, if you have a Verizon Droid, check it out. It's under Marketplace. And go into sports and do a search on Billy C. Boxing, and you'll find us. The show was, we have a version of the show up on YouTube every day. And speaking of YouTube, if you are looking for somebody to really boister your YouTube traffic like we did. I mean, I got to be honest with you. We had our YouTube set up for months now. Months and months and months. Never got any traffic. Never really did anything with it until my man hooked us up. And, Monty see, Monty do. That's all I'm going to say. Monty see, Monty do. And, if you want me to hook you up with him, he works very affordably. And the guy shows results. I mean, we had like 300 views. We're over 16,000 right now, and we just started. We're new at it. So check this guy out. He knows his stuff. Drop me an email. I'll hook you up with him. Billy at TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. Especially for all you YouTube fans that we're starting to get some regulars there, including my man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is one of the guys that, they hate me, but they listen anyway, just to cut me up. And it's Giving Quality 24. That's his handle. He had again. He sent a couple of comments that I'm going to read, and like I always do, like I tell you, if you send me an email and you got an issue, you want to cut up on somebody, whatever, and it's between us, no problem. I will never announce it on air, never talk about it on air. If you do want it on air, you could just put mailbag or mention it in the body of the email, and I'll talk about it. But if you post something on a forum, or if you post something in YouTube or on our message board or whatever, to me that's public. That means you don't mind us talking about it, so I don't ask. And that's why I'm talking about Giving Quality 24. First of all, he says he wanted to thank us for giving him a shout-out. He heard his name. He was shocked. And, he said... he wants me to watch. He wants to finish his comment. First he says thanks, but he wants me to watch the video of Floyd Mayweather Jr. being sentenced. And he says the reason why I'm wrong about Floyd, not admitting that he smacked his wife around and all that stuff that we said he did. He says if you watch the video, you'll see when the judge says, you grabbed you hit your wife and pulled her up by the arm or whatever. Floyd was shaking his head like, no. So Giving Quality 24 is telling me that the way he was shaking his head when she was saying threats of killing her, make her disappear and all of that stuff is proof of why Floyd never did it or said it or blah, blah, blah. Come on, Giving Quality 24. You seem like a smart guy. You can type and spell and all that stuff. Come on, man. I mean, couldn't have Floyd been saying, no, I can't believe she's bringing this up in court. No, you got it all wrong. It wasn't, I didn't really say it like that. Oh, my God, no. I thought part of the deal was you weren't going to mention this on air. I mean, come on, man. You can't go by that. You can't go by his actions and him shaking his head, no, meaning that, it didn't happen. Since when do we believe everything Floyd Mayweather says? We can't believe anything he says. Nothing. Unless you know him personally and you're outside the camera. Whenever there's a camera on him, whether it be in a courtroom, whether it be a computer camera, whether it be a camera with a television, whatever, you never know with Floyd. You don't know if he's promoting himself, if he's losing his mind, or what. So Giving Quality 24, come on, man. I'm not going to go by him shaking his head. No, I didn't do it. I'm not taking that as a fact. But hey, we got another thing, another comment from Quality, whatever it is, Quality Giving Quality 24. But that's got to wait in about 2 minutes.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Rosselli Enterprises. Rosselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Rosselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RosselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IDO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IDO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOboxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C Radio Show. Check out our website, www.billycboxing.com. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Reading email. What was in that cough drop? Reading an email from Giving Quality 24. Another one. You know, I just want to comment on one other thing he said before we get into some news. Hey, I got an update on Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. Just what Murph wants to hear. He's in the chat room. Oh no, come on. Hey, I mean, it's news. It's news. It's breaking news. I'm pissed off about it, to tell you the truth. Floyd's my man. I'm ready to give Floyd a call. I'm ready to have Floyd on the show. I was thinking about staying over his house a little bit, hanging out with him. I want to hang with him. I want to know what it feels like to gamble $400,000 on a college football game. I want to know what that feels like, man. I got to roll up nickels to bet $25. Anyway, Giving Quality 24 also says, by the way, Bill, Floyd never admitted to what you said on the show today, but I'm still going to watch the show, even though I disagree with you and hate you. No, he did admit it, man. He admitted that he hit his wife. He admitted that he took the cell phones. He admitted that he pulled her hair. And the reason why he admitted all of that is because of the plea bargain. Now, I will go on to say this. Many, many people have admitted things that they were not guilty for. All I could say is, remember the witch days back in the days in the 1600s? Are you a witch? No. Drowned her again. Are you a witch? No. Drowned her again. Are you a witch? No. Drowned her again. Are you a witch? No. Drown her again. Are you a witch? Yes, yes. Okay, burn her. Okay, geez. But anyway, one other thing, he says, the guy you had on the show yesterday is delusional about the egos of these guys being the reason the fight hasn't happened. He was referring to Scotty. He says Floyd's going to make more money on the fight because he's a more accomplished fighter. He's undefeated and does better numbers than Pac in the pay-per-view. The hardcore fact is Arum just can't stand it. Arum just wants as much money as he can get from Pac, man, and Arum makes money based on how well the Gates do. So, It's not about egos. Given quality 24, yes, it is, man. It's about the egos, and we're going to get to that a little bit later in the show. Who's the guy making the rules and everything else. And Floyd, listen, he's not a more accomplished fighter than Manny Pacquiao. All right, you want to throw the undefeated record in my face? Go ahead, man. That's important to Floyd, and I guess maybe some people find some value in that. I will not say that he's a more accomplished fighter than Manny Pacquiao. I might say that judging by his abilities in the ring, he might be a better fighter than Manny Pacquiao. If they fought, he would be the favorite. We don't know until they actually get it on, as Mills Lane would say. So we don't know. So I'm not going to say he's a more accomplished fighter. No way. Another mailbag I wanted to read was from the Trojan Buster. He says, guess what? Mayweather tweeted again. I didn't see any of this. He says, I'm ready to put my belt up. What about you, Manny? Let's make history. The Trojan Buster says, see, that's 2 days in a row he's fired shots at Manny Pacquiao. It gets better than that. We'll get to that in a second. And then we had a mailbag from Alex T., the other Alex. He says, did I read an interview yesterday about Kelly Pavlik saying that he never pulled out of a fight with Paul Williams? And Alex Thompson turns around and says, somebody better get that guy another drink. I love that. But he also says he feels the same way as I do regarding Mayweather and Pacquiao. It won't hurt significantly the legacy of either fighter if they were to lose that fight. And that's so true. The truth of the matter is just for fighting each other they get recognition, win, lose, or draw. I mean, really, even if Mayweather goes in and knocks Manny Pacquiao out in the first round, or vice versa, Manny Pacquiao knocks Mayweather out in the first round, destroys him, I don't think it's going to hurt Mayweather. I don't think people are going to say, oh, Mayweather was never a good fighter, see what Manny did, or vice versa. Oh, see, I told you, Mayweather's much better, knocked out Pacquiao. It's not going to hurt the legacy. That's why it's a win-win situation. That's why the only people losing here are us. And speaking of that, yesterday, basically, Manny Pacquiao had 48 hours. He was given a deadline. You have 48 hours to make a decision whether you're going to fight Floyd or not. Floyd's got to move on, blah, 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 blah. Freddie Roach was basically said, according to TMZ, that, he says the bottom line is this. He said, after the tweet, he was referring to the tweet. He says after Mayweather called Manny Pacquiao a tweak, he says he should look in the mirror. After Mayweather called Manny Pacquiao a punk, Freddie Roach said he should look in the mirror. He's been ducking us for 2 years. As for he was asked about the weight class. He says, if Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather, it would be at 147 pounds. That's the upper limit of the welterweight division. Of course, even if Manny Pacquiao can arrange his schedule, both sides have to agree on a financial deal. We'll do it on even terms. So, according to Team Pacquiao, the issue is not the fight. It's not whether they're going to do this, they're going to do that. They said, listen, it's got to be a 50-50 split. So if Floyd Mayweather is going to come forward and say, okay, we'll do 60-40 or whatever, that's not going to fly. It's got to be a 50-50 split. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to get to the latest with that in a couple of minutes. But first, let's talk about some other important news that I feel come out. Juanma Lopez is finally getting his rematch, or he's finally deciding that he's ready for his rematch against Salido. And, it was announced a couple of days ago that the open up, the Juan Manuel Lopez and Orlando Salido. Hey, yeah, see how this is being, we're talking about promoters and, value of fighters and value of getting the name out there. Do you realize how this fight is being promoted, the rematch? It's being promoted as Juanma Lopez versus Orlando Salido. Now, aren't the belts becoming secondary? I mean, the only time a champion is issued, or the only time a belt is referred to, is when somebody feels that they need to. In this case, the main guy is Juanma Lopez, so they announce him first, even though he's the challenger. It would be curious to see who comes out first. You would think if it's for a world title, the titleist has to come out second, right? But they announced that Mikey Garcia, who's an exciting fighter, we know that. We love watching this kid fight. He's going to be opening up the card when that takes place. So we'll be looking forward to that. That's going to be March 10th. March 10th is when that fight's going to be. And Mikey Garcia will be on the co-main event. He'll be opening up the event. And the main event, of course, will be Juan Manuel Lopez with his rematch against Orlando Salido to try and get his belt back and to try and get Bob Arum in a position to possibly have Juan Manuel Lopez fight Yuri Ortiz Gamboa. I don't see why. Yuri Ortiz Gamboa has proved to me that he will take care of business when it comes time to fight Juan Manuel Lopez. So Juan Manuel Lopez's chin didn't become granite after his loss. So, we mentioned yesterday about Ricky Hatton and the fact that he's not depressed no more. I'm no more depressed. I'm healed. It's a miracle. I'm taking over the company. But anyway, I also I don't know if I got a chance to mention this yesterday, but we have a fight that's I guess in the works, or maybe it's already been scheduled for February 18th. Juan Montes, 21 wins, 2 losses, 14 knockouts, and Oscar Ibarra are going to be taking on each other for the IBF's International Junior Bantamweight World Title. How do they call that a world title? Anyway, it's going to be taking place on February 18th in Mexico. So we got yet another decent matchup, at least on paper, coming up. How about Vitaly Klitschko? Vitaly Klitschko, they had the press conference not too long ago for him and Chisora. They're getting close to fighting. And, Chisora was saying some stuff. He says, he says, the world is sick of the Klitschkos. I'm gonna have to prove my boxing skills and all of this stuff. He says, Chisora says, everyone's tired of you and your brother. There's no excitement in the ring. It's time for a new king, and that's going to be me, blah, blah, blah. And Vitaly Klitschko, his focus is on my age isn't an issue. I'm still just as good. I'm 40, but I'm still just as good. I feel like I'm 25. I'm in great condition. Wait till the fight. But you know what bothered me about this? He starts going, he's at the press conference. He's at the conference for his fight that's coming up with Derek Chisora. And we got to assume that Derek Chisora is going to be in good shape. We got to assume that. And what does Vitaly say? He starts talking about David Hay. He says Toa whatever, Hay will be sent to the floor. He's still talking about fighting this guy. He has so much animosity towards David Hay that he's got blinders on. He just wants to knock out David Hay. I mean, hey, trust me, I want to see David Hay get knocked out so bad. But David Hay is going to run from Vitaly Klitschko. I think that I personally think that Vitaly Klitschko should focus on Derek Chisora, and I don't even think he should give David Hay a rematch. I think that give David Hay another shot at the title. I think that the fact that he does not is better for boxing. One thing I wanted to add before we take a break here, and this is proof that David Hay has a moral victory here over Vitaly Klitschko. He says, and this is Klitschko says, David Hay is like an itch I can't scratch. An itch you can't scratch. That means that David Hay is on Vitaly Klitschko's mind. He's in his head. And that's what David Hay wanted. Isn't that what David Hay's been parading around for the last 4 years trying to do, get in his head? And, it's just so bad that he hurt his toe.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretch of that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent you.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me? What?
Wrong.
What's the problem?
Billy C.
I did not have...
We're going to have to ask
wrong speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C Radio. You're watching us on the Fight Now channel, man. What, you don't have it? Come on, man. Come on. Join the reindeer games. I know the holidays are over, man, but you got to join the reindeer games. You got to get the Fight Now channel, man. Call your local television provider and tell them you want it. Enough of this crap. You know, all these television providers are playing games. You know, they're yanking stuff away. I know the provider we have just took a sports channel away from us. You know what? Now's the time to call them and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your lineup. It's that simple. Check out their website for all the information, www.fightnow.com. A lot of great stuff on tap for this year, in 2012, for the Fight Now channel. So don't be left behind, man. Get the channel and have it all at your fingertips. And I want to welcome the Fight Now audience just joining us like they do Monday through Friday from 6 to 7:30. You know, I was saying to myself, hey, you know, maybe we should do 4 hours, man. Maybe we should do 4 hours. You know, but that's a long time. I was just... you know, a lot of people email me and they tell me, you know, I only catch some of your show. I'm getting ready for work, you know, I'm watching, and I'm talking about from Fight Now, and they say, you know, I only get to catch the last half because my drive to work isn't that long. It's only 20 minutes, and you know, by the time I, excuse me, by the time I leave, I'm only catching a little bit of the show and blah blah blah. Hey, listen to it on your mobile app, man. Listen to it on your mobile app. What can I tell you? But they're in the chat room and they're talking about the Billy C Challenge already. I can't believe that they're actually trying to put everybody in place. Like, what place they're in. We've had 1 week of the Billy C Challenge for 2012, and we're already bragging about the place that everybody's in. Just remember one thing. I'm in first place. Right? I'm tied with 97 other people in first place. All right, so this may be it might be the last week that I'm in first. So, you know, all I know is Murphy's, he's down at the bottom. David Allen, down at the bottom. I mean, you know, listen, I wish nothing but the best for everybody that's in that Billy C Challenge, except for Murphy and David Allen. That's it. Those are the only two guys I hope lose all their fights. Not for any personal reasons, just because they always pick on me. That's why. And speaking of picking on people, I'm going to pick on you guys some more because I'm going to talk about not you guys. And the reason why I say this is because we got more discussion about Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. It's sickening. Go vote, man. Go vote. Whose fault is it? It's up on the BillyCBoxing.com webpage. It just got put up this morning. Several people already responded. So you got to get up there. Whose fault is it that this fight's not being made? We have a couple of choices. We got Floyd Mayweather. We got Manny Pacquiao. We got Bob Arum. And we got Billy C. I don't know how Billy C got on there. But yeah, here's the problem. I said it on yesterday's show. I'm going to say it again. I'm for Floyd. No, I'm not for Floyd as a person. I just am on Floyd's side right now. I think Manny Pacquiao is the guy. And Bob Arum is trying to make us feel sorry for him or something. The camp, Manny Pacquiao, Rich Capula, no. Manny Pacquiao, the camp, his team, which consists of Pacquiao, Freddie Roach, Bob Arum, and, probably about 40,000 other people that's in that group of guys. But what they said is, you know what? We haven't even talked about money. We will accept a 50-50 split. We want to fight, but the date's no good. The date's no good. Man, come on. What do you mean the date's no good? What do you mean the date's no good? The end of May would work, but not May 5th. See, this is one. I was trying to tell, like the guy that's email. See, these are the moral victories. This is why when Scotty said that these guys have egos. See, this is an educational process for Given Quality 24. This is the reason. If it was your thoughts, Quality 24, if you thought that the reason was only because of Manny Pacquiao or only because of Bob Arum or greed or whatever else, or who's the bigger draw and all, he's trying to tell me that Mayweather's a bigger draw, which isn't necessarily true. This is proof that the egos. You see, these guys want a moral victory. Floyd wanted the moral victory with the drug testing. He got it. Manny Pacquiao wanted to be able to train in the Philippines for a certain amount of time and not be subject to. He got it. They want a 50-50 split. They both agreed to it, but I haven't seen any names on paper yet. Moral victories, egotistical victories before the bell. That's what we're talking about. And this is one, too. And this is one that Manny Pacquiao, Team Pacquiao, is trying to get. Mayweather says, I already got the date. I got the venue and I got the date. That's a moral victory. If Manny Pacquiao agreed to fight on that date and agreed to fight at that place and agreed to fight, that means Mayweather made the thing. He's on the home turf, and that's that. Now, remember, they both have a title. So we're going to have that whole issue. Who gets announced first? Who gets into the ring first? Who gets, all of that are moral victories based on ego. Because they're both going in there, I think, on an even keel. As far as the May 5th date, Bob Arum actually says he throws the fact that they're building the new arena. Now, there's an outdoor arena which apparently could seat so many more people that they claim that they could bring in an additional $30 million in revenue. The way the MGM is set up right now, they can seat about 20,000, 17 to be exact. And they said in ticket sales they could get about 20 million. But if they went to this outdoor arena that they were trying to build, that they are building right now, that will not be done by May 5th, but it will be done by the end of May, they could raise an additional $30 million. Now, my question is this. The end of May still gives Floyd Mayweather time to check into his jail cell June 1st, right? It also gives him time to make an additional cash, right? If you're going to have an extra $30 million in the pot, that's at least another $15 million in Floyd's pocket, right? Because we're assuming they're going to agree on a 50-50 split. Listen, if it's a matter of the date, and if we're talking about the same month, Again, it's a moral victory. Hey, you could take. I know construction companies. You could take that construction company, whoever's doing it, and you could say, "I'll tell you what, you guys work 24 hours a day. You get this thing done by April 30th, man. You get this thing done, CO approved, the whole 9 by April 30th, and here's an extra $1 or $2 million, whatever." All right, they could make that happen, but it's a moral victory, and this is going back to back up what Scotty was saying yesterday, and I agree with Scotty. These guys are focused on the battles before the battle right now. The indication that they're saying that it would work in the month of May shows me that maybe this is a little further along than what we think. Maybe that the boy who cried wolf so much that we're all like Murphy, and I agree with Murphy. I'm sick of this fight. I don't even want to hear it anymore. Both of these guys are a bunch of losers for not fighting each other. I agree with that. But you know what? This could be a case of the boy who cried wolf. Maybe they really are trying to make it. I don't know, man. I don't know. They want a 50-50 split. Another thing that Bob Arum is saying is that, Manny's not going to work on a percentage split of unforeseen numbers. Floyd doesn't want to do that either. Floyd wants a guaranteed purse, wants somebody to guarantee him a purse, plus he wants a percentage. Listen, the only way that this fight's going to work is if they split all the revenues 50-50. Every dollar that comes in, 50 cents goes to Floyd, 50 cents goes to Manny. End of story. I can't argue with the fact that Bob Arum knows that we could get a great, aside from the pay. Listen, all the money is going to be made on the pay-per-view, all right? But it wouldn't be bad to have an extra $30 million, so you're looking at $50 million. Because if that's true, they're saying $20 million can be raised in the MGM Grand right now. If we wait and put the outdoor pavilion up, you could generate an additional $30 million. So that 30 plus 20 is $50 million in live gate. $50 million. Being a historian, you look at some of these historical gates and stuff like that. They were jumping for joy when the first $1 million gate took place. First $1 million gate. This is a gate that would net, according to Bob Arum, $50 million just for the live gate. Not to mention what the pay-per-views are going to be. What do you think they're going to charge us for a pay-per-view for this fight if it happens? I'm telling you right now, we may see a $99 pay-per-view. It's going to... Listen, they've been fleecing us for 3 years on this fight. They're going to fleece us when it happens. I just hope that the fight lives up to 50% of the hype about it. I just hope it's not one of these overcautious Floyd waiting in his defensive stance, Manny bouncing around him, and before we know it, we're going to the scorecards and it's a draw because nobody threw any punches. And I don't want to hear about that friggin' punch stat after every punch. I don't want to hear about it. I'm sick of that punch stat BS, man. It's terrible. Well, Floyd's, he's kind of under the gun. He's going to have to fight in May, at least May 5th, or at least in the month of May. And one of the guy's names, according to Team Mayweather, that's not on the list, is Robert the Ghost Guerrero. I'm glad that they announced this. I'm glad that they announced this because listen, the whole idea of Robert the Ghost Guerrero fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr. was the brainchild of the publicist of the year. No, not Bob Trieger, even though Bob Trieger is the hardest working publicist that the sport has to offer. Mario Serrano did a fantastic job having us even talk about this, having Robert the Ghost Guerrero even being discussed as a possible opponent. Our very own Dax Khan started to believe he could actually win a fight against Floyd Mayweather, or at least be competitive, which I'm not sure. But at least as of yesterday, they said nay. That's not happening. Robert the Ghost Guerrero is not in the list, but they have a short list. And one of the names that seems to be on the list, we all know that Saul Alvarez may very well be the front runner of this fight for Floyd's next fight because it's Cinco de Mayo. He's a young fighter, so he's a bigger fighter. So guys like me would say, "Oh, well, Floyd's fighting a younger guy. He's fighting a bigger guy." And he's also a safe opponent for Floyd because he's clearly forget how many fights he's got. I mean, the kid is 21 years old. He's got 40 professional fights, 39-0 with a draw, 29 knockouts. Forget that. He's 21 years old. Floyd Mayweather sees a fresh fish right there, baby. He's like, man, this kid doesn't know nothing. Floyd forgot more about boxing than Saul Alvarez knows. So forget about the size, forget about the youth, forget about the undefeated record. I'm looking at Floyd and I'm saying, man, if I can make $10 million, if I'm Floyd, and I know, Floyd, you're watching, and I know what you're thinking, Floyd, and you're thinking this, man, if I can make $10 million fighting Saul Alvarez, I forgot more than this kid knows. I'll make a quick $10 million. I'll put a couple of future bets in. I'll go do my 30 days because that's all he's going to do. They're saying 87 days. He's going to do 30. All right. If he does, I think the high line, and I'll put my bet in for Floyd. The high line on Floyd is 45 days. I said this when they announced it. 45 days at the most. I say Floyd will be out in 30. So Floyd's looking at making $10 million, going to sit in a cot for 30 days. He don't care. He don't care. He's going to be a celebrity in jail. I see the fight being against Saul Alvarez. It makes sense. Cinco de Mayo makes sense. The only other dark horse in this whole scenario is Lamont Peterson. Don't think Lamont Peterson isn't a guy that's going to fight Floyd. Don't think for a second Floyd wouldn't go after Lamont Peterson. Why? Because he puts a dig into Amir Khan. Amir Khan was shooting off his mouth. The guy that I think would be a real black, or I should say dark horse. I don't want to say black horse. I don't want anybody to get mad, but the bottom line is Puerto Rican Miguel Cotto is being mentioned as well. What does Floyd gain out of beating up on Miguel Cotto? The only thing he gains is to piss off Bob Arum a little more. I mean, how bad would Bob Arum get pissed off if Miguel Cotto? Because remember, Miguel Cotto's not under contract with Bob anymore. Top Rank a deal with Miguel Cotto expired New Year's Eve, December 31st, baby. Miguel Cotto's a free agent right now. Now, he says he'll work with Bob Arum because they've treated him so good on a fight-to-fight basis. But guess what? He gets an opportunity to fight Floyd Mayweather. What do you think Bob Arum's going to do? Bob Arum and his, his dust that comes out his mouth sometimes because he's so old, I think, and comes out the other end too. But I think Bob Arum might even have a heart attack. So, you know what? Manny Pacquiao, I still think Manny Pacquiao has to fight Floyd. I think he does. I'm sorry. Speaking of Mayweather and, the connections to Floyd, how about Victor Ortiz? Going in front of the Nevada State Athletic Commission yesterday, and had to get his scolding in public, and then they decided to issue him a one fight license so he can have his rematch with Andre Berto, and then they'll reevaluate if he behaves himself in that fight. Then they'll reinstate a regular license for a year. Listen, I've promoted fights. I've promoted fights in the most strict commission there is, New York State. Nevada State Athletic Commission is equal or I would say it's definitely the same. I don't know if it's harder, but it's more strict, but it's definitely the same. In a sense, even though I've locked horns with commissions that are like that are strict and everything else, you got to appreciate when they're looking out for the well-being of the fighter and they want to have all their rules. But when and sometimes commissions can over-commission and flex their muscles too much and all this stuff. But when does a athletic commission let money determine what their rulings are? When did that happen? I mean, first of all, we got to see the law, our judicial system, let the potential revenue that could be generated by a Floyd Mayweather fight, which they're claiming is $100 million for any old fight, $100 million in the city of Las Vegas, who needs money. If they make a judgment based on speculation of anticipated revenue generation for a fighter, and put off his sentence, put off his debt to society for the money, and then several weeks later have a guy like Victor Ortiz get one fight, and you say to yourself, is this because they're truly letting him do a test, or is this because it's against Andre Berto, and Ortiz Berto #1 was fight of the year, candidate fight of the year. A lot of people voted as fight of the year. It was exciting. Blah 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 blah. Let's get some more revenue in this town. So let's give this kid a license, and we'll let him fight one more time. Hey, even if they never let this kid fight in the state again, at least they're going to get their cut. At least they're going to get their cut. I think that's crazy. I think it's crazy. And by the way, why they were at it, they were on a roll yesterday, the Nevada State Athletic Commission. They made him. They showed the video of him with the interview on Max Boxing. They showed, they watched the footage again of him headbutting, of him telling on the interview that he would, next time he does it, he's going to make sure he breaks a nose, blah, blah, blah. And then after all of that, they say, okay, we're going to give you 5-0. They voted, 5-person panel voted 5-0 to give him one more shot, to give him a special one-day license, one-fight license. Because they're all going to get paid, man. All those officials get paid at those fights. You know that, right? I mean, you know that all those officials, the judges, the ringside officials, all those guys, they get paid. They get paid. So, hey, when the panel is voting and they realize that they're going to be cutting their own check out of their own pocketbook, what makes you think? It's about the money, man. Don't think it's not about the money. And while they were at it, Yoel Casamayor, he got his license revoked. He's 145 years old anyway. But he got his license revoked because he tested for weed after his last fight. He tested for weed. And by the way, they're fining him 10% of his $100,000 purse. They're fining him $10,000. And his license has been revoked for a year. We may not see Casamayor again. The ABC boxing rules also state that if one state suspends a fighter, generally they honor it as well. So he tested positive for weed after his last fight, and they suspended him. They suspended his license, and they fined him $10,000. I just want to I'm not disputing that Casamayor did a stupid thing, but it's even stupider for the commission to do this about weed, and I'll tell you why. We're not talking about a PED. We're not talking about a drug that made Yoel Casamayor do well in a fight. He certainly didn't smoke a joint and then decide to get in the ring. He certainly didn't smoke a joint to help him with training. Either way, the stupidity of Yoel Casamayor for smoking pot while he's training, obviously, the stuff stays in your system for 30 days. So he did it within his training time, or he may have celebrated the night of after the fight or whatever. I don't know what he had to celebrate for. He's looked awful, and then tested positive. Listen, you're going to fine a guy for that where it hurt him. The fine is in the performance. The fine should be, hey, you're an idiot. What the hell are you smoking weed for? Look what it did to you. Instead they make it seem like they don't want any drugs. They should be looking for these designer performance-enhancing drugs that they are not that they're not finding out when they do the test. Instead of finding a substance like marijuana, which anybody that smokes it for a fight, if you're training, you're not smoking. You shouldn't be smoking anything. You shouldn't be drinking or smoking anything. The drugs that these guys are taking generally to help them with their training or with their fight are enhancement drugs and performance-enhancing drugs. And those they should focus on testing for. The new ones that they don't have a test for yet. The ones that are just coming out. That's what they should be focusing on. Instead, they focus on that. They focus on marijuana. Come on, man. The marijuana is not going to help the guy at all. It's going to hurt him. He's an idiot for doing it. But on the other hand, come on, man. You're wasting your time. It's like a legal system. It's okay to drink a case of beer or a bottle of booze every night, smack your wife around and get up and go to work and never have a problem. They're not gonna fire you from your job because you got drunk because you'd get drunk every single night. But you know what? If they tested you and you had pot in your system, they would. They'd fire you for that. I don't know. The last time somebody smoked a joint and went home and beat up their wife, I don't know. And why the Nevada State Athletic Commission was at it, they also mentioned about Floyd Mayweather's hearing. Now, Floyd has to have a hearing. Oh, I'm spitting out my cough drop. Floyd Mayweather has to have a hearing prior to his issuance of a license for the projected May 5th fight. Now, let me ask you this: the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they made Victor Ortiz do a hearing, and they're going to make Floyd do a hearing in lieu of some of the things that took place, and of course Floyd's hearing is because of his legal conviction. Let me ask you this: do you think for a minute, considering that most commissions are all politically connected, do you think for a minute that the Nevada State Athletic Commission would deny Floyd Mayweather a license to box in the state of Nevada after a judge basically gave him a reprieve, a pardon for a month or two, so he didn't have to serve his time? Come on, man. They're going through the motions. It's like the NFL who hires a coach, but, because of the rules, has to go through the interview process and interview 5 other guys. They just go through the process just to go through it, and really, it's not doing anything for anybody, in my opinion. But anyway, listen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to have Keith Tessera on, and he's going to be presenting this week's feature fighter, which is Mustafa Hamshaw. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back. Mayweather, Pacquiao. Man, is it going to happen? Whose fault is it? Whose fault that it's not happening? Go cast your vote right now. www.billycboxing.com.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on talkinboxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TALKINBOXING.com and place your order today.
Join us here for...
And we're back. Why? Because now we have an issue with the sound system. So we're still going to wait for Keith to get in. He's got to call in here, and we will get that back on track. And you got to love the like my producer used to say. We got the ghetto studio going on here, and yeah, we do. That's the way it feels. But anyway, Keith, whenever you're ready, maybe he's trying, but we'll see what. And he's making fun of my glasses. No, I have the glasses on because I can't see without them anymore, and there's no intellect here. I'm still as stupid as I was without the glasses. So anyway, they made it was announced yesterday that Jose Reynoso is going to be taking on Thomas Delorme, and this was Thomas Delorme was a guy that was one of Scotty's prospects of the year. He said keep an eye on him, and this is a guy that is pretty good, and he's taken on a similar guy that I just put the wrong number in there, so don't listen to that. I'm trying to do 2 things at once here, and I can't actually do 2 things at once. Imagine if I was chewing gum too, So anyway, he's got to put this on his redial, man. But Delorme is a good fighter now. Both of these guys are respectable. Reynoso's got a record of 15-3-1 with 2 knockouts, only 2 knockouts. And Delorme's got 10 knockouts. He's 13-0. Now, this is going to be a featured fight on Showbox on February 17th. Also, yesterday they had the. This is great for me because they had the press conference yesterday for the official announcement of the Sergio Martinez and Matthew Macklin fight that's going to be taking place on St. Paddy's Day. And I'll get to that in a second because I got something bigger and better going on right now, and his name is Keith Tessaro. Good morning, Keith. What's up, man?
Good morning, Billy.
You don't like
just waking up, got my Java, ready to talk some boxing.
you don't like my glasses?
The glasses look great. They look as good as mine.
Yeah, you're funny. I read one of your comments. He said that they didn't have to test Casamayor for weed. It looked like he was smoking in between rounds, right?
Yeah, I tell you, I think he got a prescription just in case he got an ass whooping.
Yeah, I just think that's funny. I mean, I'm glad that they police that kind of thing, but man, shouldn't they be looking for something that would help somebody win? I mean, when was the last time you knew a fighter that smoked a joint and it actually helped them?
Yeah, Pot's really well known for giving you that aggressive edge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like they might say in the corner after he smoked a joint before the fight, he goes in the corner. He says, "Water? I don't want water. You got any chips? You got any chips?"
Yeah, they should have known he was smoking when they rolled the recliner in the corner.
Right, exactly. He's putting his feet up. But anyway, I just think it's funny. I mean, over policing sometimes, Keith. You know how that can be. But it's sickening. But Mustafa Hamshaw, actually, this is your gig. You're going to be picking the guys. I kind of put you on the spot with this one only because I had some information on him, and you jumped on it. You said, what a great guy. Tell us about Mustafa Hamshaw.
Well, career record, 44-5-2, 28 knockouts, 160-pound, middleweight southpaw with a mauling, brawling style who enjoyed using just about every part of his body to fight, and gave a lot of fighters a hard time, for a decade.
A lot of people think that if Mustafa Hamshaw didn't have to fight Marvelous Marvin Hagler, that he clearly would have been a world champion. Instead, he's only had the opportunity to challenge for a title for the times he fought Marvin.
Well, honestly, I think maybe they rushed him to fight Marvin. The first time he fought Marvin in '81, he was coming off of 2 split decision victories, one against Alan Minter, one against Curtis Parker, and he was clearly not ready for a sharpshooter like Hagler. And unfortunately, business dictates sometimes you take the fights when you can get them. But to be honest with you, I think Hamshaw had some poor management. He just was not, in between these fights with Hagler and Bobby Ches, they would put him in with guys like Gil Rosario, guys that were 5-8, upside down in their records. And if you're gonna have an A-level fighter, you've got to keep him in A-level competition, or upper B gatekeepers to keep him sharp. You can't put him into, you can't go from A-level fighters to a C-level fighter, And Hamshaw also had some weight issues to stay in the middleweight ranks. He was up and down, fought in the 70s, and he had to lose a lot of weight before he got in with Bobby Ches in '82.
Now, I was going to ask you about that because mostly, based on at least his fight career, this was a guy that predominantly fought in the middleweight division until his last shot against Hagler. Now, when did he move up to light heavyweight? I know he fought Donnie Lalonde in 1987 as a light heavyweight, and I think he finished his career as a light heavyweight. But when did he make the switch? Was that around the Ernie White fight or what?
Yeah, right around that era. He was already pretty much. It was after the second Hagler fight. He was just, Marvin Hagler was the type of champion that if he fought you more than once, your odds of winning went way down. And after the second Hagler fight, he kind of just, I think he just lost the drive to stay in the middleweight division. He thickened up, and but he was a very entertaining, mauling, brawling fighter who used his shoulders, his elbows, his head, anything he could. You know, my favorite fight of his was his fight with Wilfred Benitez in '83. That was just a classic fight. He had Benitez hurt bad in the third round, and probably should have took Benitez out. You know, he didn't. Benitez didn't have the big punching power of a Hagler or of a Hampshire. So, but I think Hampshire kind of punched himself out after the third round, and from then on just took it on point.
I mean, he fought some. You know, we talk about Hagler, but he also fought Alan Minter and Curtis Parker, and you mentioned Bobby Chez and Wilfred Benitez. I mean, even you know, to a degree, we gotta give Donnie Lalonde some credit too, and his second to last fight against Graciano I can't even pronounce his last name, and I'm a Paisan, but he eventually became a titleist too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, actually, he was a champion. He was, you know, one of those dozen champions that reigned at one time in the weight division back in the '80s. But then, you know, the problem was I don't think he was properly moved, and he had a style that was fading. That mauling and brawling style was fading more toward the sharpshooter style that we see now, and that's why we get excited about fighters like Paul Wallach and so on, because we don't see it as often as it was prevalent in the 60s, 70s, you know, 50s. So, but he had a great fight with Wilfred Scipione early in Scipione's career, when he was 16-0 and won on disqualification in the 10th round. He had a great career. He just, unfortunately, like a lot of fighters during the time when we had one pretty much predominant champion, he just ran into a better guy that just picked him apart. I mean, Hagler had him bleeding and cut up bad in the first fight, and then in the third fight, you know, Hagler just destroyed him in 3 rounds.
Yeah, the guys in the chat room are all talking about some of the fights. Coach K is mentioning the Bobby Watts fight, and Murphy's recalling the fight when he threw or when his opponent fell out of the ring, and you know, whether he pushed him out or not. I mean, that's the kind of fighter. And you know, you look at his heritage. He's a Syrian fighter, and I can't recall. I mean, I know that we've seen some Syrian fighters since him, but I can't recall of anyone prior to him. I mean, off the top of your head, can you remember any?
No. There were some Middle Eastern fighters during the early 20s and 30s, but during the influx of the Jewish fighters. But no, I can't recall too many Syrian fighters. He was probably one of the most popular and biggest Muslim stars until the conversion of a lot of African Americans in the 70s to the Muslim religion.
Well, Mustafa Hamshaw, he's a guy that we should keep in our thoughts. He's a former world middleweight title challenger, like Keith said, 44 wins, 28 come by knockout. And he did have 5 losses, stopped 3 times, 2 of those 3 times by Marvin Hagler. And the last time was pretty much at the end of his career in 1987. 2 draws. He had 297 rounds as a professional with 55% KO ratio. Mustafa Hamshaw today would have easily have been a champ, I think, anyway. Keith, I got you on the line. You know, I'd love to talk more about Hamshaw, but you know, we got this news. You know, it's Mayweather Pacquiao. We've been talking about this for 3 years now, probably close to 4, and you know the whole roller coaster that's been going on and everything else. And you know, as of this week and some of the things that are coming out, I hate to say it, and I know you're sitting down, or I hope you're sitting down, but you know, I'm actually agreeing with Mayweather. I really think, no, Keith, you know, I really believe.
Billy, since when does Twitter, fax contracts?
No.
I mean,
but
this is all more of Floyd's little baloney game.
All right,
the problem with Pacquiao is Pacquiao's got a promoter. You know, Mayweather can shoot his mouth off and act like a promoter because he's self-promoted. You know, and it's just, you know, you don't get a fight as big as this, 100 million, 120 million. You know, you don't get it done over Twitter.
No, I'm not saying that. My point is that what I was trying to say was that Bob Arum, we all knew. Listen, they're acting like this fight was first. These guys have talked so much behind the scenes. They know what deal. Everybody knows what it would take to make the fight happen in terms of a deal. They're acting as if, well, we want this, we want that. It's like the beginning stages of a discussion. You know, they're denying that they've ever talked and discussed a financial deal and all of that, which I think is BS. I think that the bottom line is that at this stage of the game, I think that Bob Arum is more to blame than anyone else. Out of all of the players, I think that he needs to just, make it happen. He's trying to cultivate, he's trying to make it last as long, try and get as much money out of it as he can, which I can't knock him from a business perspective. But how much more can you make? I mean, now's the time. I don't want to see these two guys fight a couple of years from now. I want to see them now. It's arguable that they're both past their prime now.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think it's anybody. I think it's the economy. Everybody who puts this fight together has got to want to make money. The fighters want X amount of dollars, the venue, the sponsors, everybody. You've got to get all these ducks in a row in the biggest fight of the century, and everybody wants to make money on it. And I don't think there's the money out there that people think there is.
Well,
that I think is the problem, is getting all the T's crossed and I's dotted, where everybody's going to walk away with something, because this is the kind of fight that somebody could lose their shirt on, because you've got to guarantee both these fighters mega millions, and then if people just are fed up, they got to get a $99 pay-per-view and nobody buys because it's just, we'll watch it on a live stream somewhere. You don't know. The technical issues of putting this fight together have got to be mind-boggling.
Well, I look at one of the latest that Bob says. They have now. I was trying to explain to a viewer that doesn't get it about the ego part, and I believe that both egos are playing a huge part. Actually, there's more than two egos involved. I mean, there's probably a room full of egos when you think about it. All of these guys want to have the upper hand. But, I think we know one thing. I think that Floyd Mayweather put the date out there, May 5th. Right off the bat, Arum wasn't going to basically play that because Floyd already made the date. So that's
right,
a negative.
Floyd has no business making a date to fight anybody without a contract.
Exactly. So on one hand, you could argue and say, well, Floyd knew that Bob Arum wasn't going to conform to that date, right? But now, in a sense, they're actually saying, well, May can work for us, but we want to take advantage of this outdoor pavilion that we're building, and we could generate an extra $30 million. So now they're talking about roughly a $50 million gate, a live gate, which is substantial. Even Floyd Mayweather couldn't shun that away, and I don't think that the end of May is actually a bad thing for Floyd. He still has that June 1st date. Even Judge Saragusa made accounts for the possibility that May 5th wasn't going to be the date. I mean, you don't have to settle down for 4 weeks before you check into a jail cell.
Yeah, don't doubt. Let me tell you something. Don't doubt that Mayweather suddenly comes out with a condition that Pacquiao has to drop the damn civil lawsuit.
Oh, that's definitely going to happen. Listen, they haven't been pursuing that because they're trying to use that as leverage. I'm talking about Bob Arum. They're trying to use that as leverage. They will drop that suit if they can get it.
Mayweather's lawyers just petitioned the court for all these medical records of Manny Pacquiao. And I think the judge should say no. You shut your mouth off stating you knew something that Manny Pacquiao was doing. You shouldn't be entitled to private personal medical records. You should be entitled to present your case based on the knowledge you had at the time you shut your mouth off.
Exactly. They're shooting their mouth off. Now it's their turn to show why they're saying that stuff.
Yeah, but the idea is you cannot, you have to show why you were of the opinion. How, when you made this statement, what they're asking Pacquiao to do is provide their case for them when they should have had a case when they shot their mouth off. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go around saying this guy's this guy's that. You should have the evidence to back it up when you say it. You shouldn't ask the guy to present the evidence for you.
You know,
and that's the problem. And I think that's where the finagling may be, is that Pacquiao may have been so insulted that he may not let that civil case go, and that fight may never get done until it's finalized.
But, you know, like I was saying yesterday, I think it's time for Manny Pacquiao to tell Bob Arum to just make the fight. What do you think?
I think the time to make the fight was last year.
2 years ago. 2 years.
I see it daily, this back and forth with the pundits and the scribes, and, you know, now Mayweather's got Pacquiao over the barrel and blah, blah, blah. And I think this fight's a year too late already, and I frankly don't care if they ever fight because, you know, they're both declining. You know, the staged event with Victor Ortiz, you know, the WWE event that they did, you know, kind of proved to me that maybe Mayweather doesn't fight Pacquiao. You know, that in Pacquiao's performance against Marquez, maybe his drive to be the mauler brawler that he was is gone. So I don't know. I think they're both victims of too much money.
Well, even if we don't get what we anticipate in terms of the actual fight, isn't it hard to turn down that much money? Both sides
Sure
are, you know.
Sure, it's hard, but the problem is, are they going to fight when they do get together, or is it going to be a chess match and bore the hell out of people and then hurt boxing even more?
That's probably the realistic way.
Because you know, I'm going to tell you what, if you're paying me $50 million guaranteed, I want to leave that ring just as pretty as I got in it.
Yeah, no, especially when you're getting ready to go to a jail cell, and you want to look good for Bubba.
When Bubba's in the shower with me.
They're talking. We all know the short list of opponents for Manny. Now Floyd's. They said no to Robert the Ghost Guerrero, which I'm actually happy about. I didn't think that was a fight I wanted to see right now.
Ghost of a chance to begin with.
They're talking about Saul Alvarez or Miguel Cotto. You know, Miguel Cotto would be a moral victory for Mayweather versus Bob Arum for sure. But what about the matchup? I mean, Cotto and Mayweather doesn't interest me at all, and neither does Alvarez Mayweather.
You know what? I think that if Mayweather wants to put a big exclamation point at the end of his career and maneuver Pacquiao in a position where Pacquiao has no choice but to fight him, he needs to fight Sergio Martinez.
That's the name that neither one of them mentioned. Sergio Martinez, and I was just while you were getting on the line here, that was a thing I was just going to talk about. You might as well, great segue. You know, we all knew that Sergio Martinez was going to fight Matthew Macklin on St. Paddy's Day in Madison Square Garden, but it was never officially announced until yesterday. They announced it. There was a huge crowd of people there waiting for the announcement. Yes, it's going to happen. You know, the WBC is on board, all of this stuff. And I'm saying to myself, what's going on? HBO and Sergio kissing made up. They're going to broadcast. And I mean, you know, what's going on with that? I mean, you know, here's Sergio Martinez, in my opinion, a guy that wasn't promoted right. And I don't mean by fights. I'm talking about by recognition. I mean, he should be as popular right now, and you alluded to it before, he should be as popular as Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather based on his talent and who he's fought and everything else, and he's not. You know, what do you think about him fighting Matthew Macklin, and why isn't Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao going after him?
Because he's dangerous. But the thing is, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, Martinez is humongous in the Hispanic community. That would be a great fight for Floyd to say, hey, I'll fight anybody. How come you won't fight me, Pacquiao? You know, but the problem, because that's the guy nobody talks about because nobody wants to mess with him. He's dangerous, even at 36 years old. So I doubt it'll get done, most likely because of the experience. I think if Mayweather doesn't fight Alvarez now, he won't fight him later because Alvarez just continues to get bigger and better.
Well, I was saying earlier in the show that, you know, if I'm Floyd Mayweather, I'm looking at Alvarez and I'm thinking, geez, I forgot more about the sport than Alvarez probably knows. He's only I think he might have just turned 21, yeah. And, you know, he's got 40 pro fights under his belt, but that doesn't mean anything. And, you know, and Floyd gets to say, hey, look, I fought a bigger, younger, stronger guy than me, and I beat him, you know.
Yeah, and I think Alvarez, if he does lose the fight, he can come back from it because he's 21 years old,
Exactly.
without a problem,
Exactly.
and still reign for a decade.
Well, nobody's going to. No, first of all, he's huge in Mexico, so they're not going to give a crap about a loss in Mexico.
No.
I mean, come on. What's your thoughts about the whole Sergio Martinez HBO breakup and then get back together thing?
I think it was a way. It was a power play, for Martinez to give HBO a warning. Stop ignoring me, Stop giving me below average purses for someone who's got the popularity that he has. And if you don't start treating me right, I'll go somewhere else.
Well, what's strange about that whole situation is they turned down. I think it was about they turned down a fight of Martinez's, but then didn't they take the same opponent and put it on another broadcast? I mean, was it something along those lines?
Yeah, it was pretty much along those lines. I think Martinez was more interested in fighting at home, and HBO just didn't want to. Excuse me. Didn't want to put out the money, for the cost, the expense of putting that fight on, and then instead they put it on a different venue and something a little more logistically smart for HBO.
I don't know, man. Smart and boxing sometimes. I don't see many connections there. Friday Night Fights is returned back to us last week, and I think overall everybody is still just waking up from the main event. It was terrible and uncharacteristic of both of the fighters that were in the main event. This week we have a pretty good matchup between Tion Kennedy and Christopher Martin. What's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I want to mention the first fight of the season. Cy Stern does such a great job in Key West, Florida for that first fight every year. And every year, ESPN gives him such crap to work with, because ESPN, a lot of people don't realize ESPN brings the main event, and you either take it or, you start losing dates. And Key West, they do such a big promoting of this ESPN fight every year, and the whole town comes out for it. And it's a shame, and I think sooner or later ESPN's got to give Key West a good matchup, for this first of the year fight, and not the stuff that's been happening in the last, 3 or 4 years. But, talking about the next fight, I don't know. I don't know what ESPN's problem is, and they need to get somebody into that position at ESPN that knows something about boxing, because, it's just disgusting what they put together sometimes.
Well, on paper, and I'll finish your thought.
Fights are made on paper,
No, I know, but when you look at the Key West, going back to the kickoff of the season, so to speak, for ESPN and Friday Night Fights, I agree with you. Key West, Mallory Square is a great place for fights. It's outside, man. It's nestled in a. If no one's ever been to Key West before, just picture where Mallory Square is nestled in is just a collection of different types of people and interests and everything else, and that's Mallory Square. So many things are going on there all the time, and to have the fights there is great. And I agree with you, man. They do spend a lot of time. I was talking with the president of the NABF the other day, Joe Dwyer. He says it was great. I mean, it was packed, everything else. And on paper, though, it did look like Dia Davis and Alfonso Lopez would be a good fight. It didn't turn out that way. And here we are again this week looking at a similar situation. On paper, Tion Kennedy and Christopher Martin look good. Christopher Martin really goes into a lot of fights as the underdog and shocks us all. Do you think he's going to come out on top? I think Tion Kennedy might be a little overrated. I think Christopher Martin may come out on top again after this one. I guess we lost. I guess we were going too good there with Keith. Keith, try and give us a shout back, and we'll see if we can't get Keith back on the line. I don't know if we're going to be able to connect with him or not because of the issue here with the friggin' phone system, which I actually got Guess what I got in the mail yesterday? An update, and they said you got to install this update, but it has nothing to do with the problems that we're having, but sometimes it all works. Well, Keith, I got you back, man. So did you hear what I said?
Hello, Bill.
Yeah, I got you back. Can you hear me?
All right.
All right.
Yeah, no, I think Kennedy's going to take this fight by decision. I think it's going to be an entertaining bout, but you cannot. A lot of times when I see these ESPN matchups, I think what they're doing is they're sitting and looking at these fights on paper. They're looking at these fights by records, and they're not matching styles. They're not matching performance. They're matching, they're going on BoxRec and say, hey, look at this guy's 22-3. We can put him against this guy who's 17-3, and we're going to get a good fight. Well, that's not matchmaking. And a lot of times I see this, and I say, does anybody look at the fighters? What their styles are, how they look when they battle a boxer versus their swarming style, or you put two boxers together, and I sit and watch some of these matchups, and I know for a fact that a fight's going to be a snoozer because you got two guys with identical styles who are gonna just play a chess game in the ring, and it's not going to be entertaining to the public. It's going to be great for the boxing aficionado who enjoys the technical side of a fight, but for the massive public, they're going to just fall asleep or go out and do something else after a couple of rounds.
No, you're 100% right, and I think that exact scenario, the BoxRec, the analogy that you used, the guy that goes to the BoxRec and sees a record 23-0, 17-0, this is going to be a good fight. Oh, look, he's got a belt. I think that exact scenario is what I call the suits of these networks do. And I think when they approve or disapprove or decide to set up a fight, that's exactly what they're doing, Keith. And that's why 90% of the time we are getting snooze fest, because as well as I do, and as most of our regular listeners know, that records are built up, man. A lot of those 17 wins are against the guy hey, come on. You and I have both seen it firsthand. The guy selling beer dresses up and he boxes in the second fight, and he's selling popcorn by the third fight, So, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, and the problem is ESPN cut their money back a decade ago. And now the situation, I'll give you a situation. We did a fight in 2004. Okay, you got 15,000, from ESPN. Okay, and then ESPN back charges you $5,000 for their lighting system. So suddenly you have $10,000 to put on an entire show. Well, promoters don't promote anymore.
Right.
So I'm at this fight, and there's 200 people there. Okay, and they had to dock in the audience because they didn't want everybody to see the empty seats.
No, they always do. They put the camera. They always move people to that shot, that camera shot. I've seen it 100 times. You got a collection of people right there, and then the rest of the fans are dressed like empty seats.
Yeah. So what the promoters promote the fact that ESPN is going to be there to the sponsors, but they don't put good fights on the undercard, to promote to the boxing public so that the public buys the tickets. So they just want the ESPN money.
Right.
And the hell with promoting the entire card and putting on a good system of fights. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at a lot of ESPN fights, I say a good maybe 60% of the time, the swing bout is better than the main event one.
Most of the time. Because those swing bouts are the local kids. They're the ones fighting for nothing. They're the ones hoping they're fighting for the opportunity to get on TV. But you hit it on the head, man. And we have a whole generation of promoters now that do just that. They close the TV deal, and their job is done. They get X amount of money. They know they get that money. If Showtime's going to give them $50,000, ESPN is I think they're doing 25 now, and that's it. And they already tell you what the main event's going to be, and you got to fill up the rest. So if a promoter says, okay, I'm getting X amount of money, I got this coming in, this coming in, this coming in. It's going to cost me this. I'm going to make that. I don't care if I sell a ticket or not. Any ticket I sell is going to be more profit for me. And they don't even try. They don't even try.
I can't tell you the last time I flew into a town that was doing a fight, walked into a convenience store or walked into a restaurant and actually saw a fight poster.
Fight posters, they're almost extinct. You know, that's why when I walk into a town and I see a fight poster or I see a promoter, a lot of people, don't care for certain promoters, but there's a lot of promoters out there that I know personally that still, they have no TV deals and they still have to promote the old-fashioned way. I got news for you. Canada does it that way. All the Canadian fights are still out there, people hitting the street. England, too. You know, I mean, this is why the fights are so exciting. People knock it, and they say, oh, look at this guy. He's got 22 wins and 15 losses. He sucks. Yeah, but he comes to fight every single time, and I'd rather watch him every single week than somebody that's going to hug and kiss for 12 rounds.
Well, I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. I'd rather watch two 500 fighters who believe in the sport than to watch two pampered, primped up fighters that guys, promoters fall in love with their fighters. They become best buddies with them, and then suddenly they're feeding them tomato cans for the entire career, getting them and hoping for that one payday where they make all that investment money back.
That's what they do. And you know what? Chris Arreola is a perfect example. Chris Arreola, right now, when they got his shot against Klitschko, they got all their money back. Everybody now he's making some money and he'll continue on. Everybody else has done it. Kevin Johnson embarrassed the sport of boxing with his BS and all of this stuff. Same thing. I mean, these guys, and it's a shame that we value them, and we put them up. You get a guy that fights a couple of fights against marginal opposition, not even 500 opposition, and next thing you know, he's in line for a title shot. How does that happen?
Because the promoters have more pull with the sanctioning bodies, and it's not about boxing. It's about who's writing the check to the sanctioning body the most often.
Yeah. They all complain about the sanctioning bodies, Keith, but you know what? If it weren't for the promoters and the networks and the fighters themselves who put value in the sanctioning bodies, the ones that actually want to fight for their belts, they're the ones that are keeping these sanctioning bodies alive, and the sanctioning bodies are clearly choking out the sport.
Well, yeah. Well, a promoter needs to care about the sport more than he needs to coddle fighters. When that begins to happen again, I'm not saying you don't churn and burn fighters, but you have to be honest with the fighter and say, you're going to have to fight. You're a B-level fighter. You've got to fight B-level opposition, earn your way into the A-level. I'm not going to keep feeding you C-level fighters until you get a break and I can afford to pay your way into the ring rating, and when they start doing that, we may develop actual champions again and actual contenders again instead of paper champions and paper contenders.
No, I agree 100%. And the truth of the matter is that whatever happened to working your way up a ranking system, where you become a prospect and then you get into the top 25 and you got to start fighting guys that are in front of you to move up. What happened to that? That doesn't seem to exist anymore. I look at news all the time. Number 7 ranked so-and-so is fighting number 6 ranked so-and-so for the number 1 ranking. What kind of math is that? I mean, maybe that's why our education system is so poor in this country right now.
The individual manager and promoter who has one good fighter, his fighter has to work his way up. But the guys like Bob Arum, who have 20, 30, 40, 50 fighters, and he's maneuvering 50 careers and paying, 25 sanctioning fees a year, or 50 sanctioning fees a year, all he has to do to get a guy into contention is to make a phone call.
Right. Well, that's...
because that sanctioning body is afraid that if he don't play ball, then they're going to lose those 50 paychecks a year.
Well, we got to cut off the source, my man. We got to do that, and you and I actually have to talk about this spring and your area. So we'll do that real soon. But okay. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. I know I spent a little too much time. They're probably wondering why we didn't take a break. But hey, we hung up on you, and I didn't want to do that. And I appreciate your thoughts and comments, and I'm going to look forward to whoever you decide to do as our feature fighter next week, and we'll be waiting for you to come back.
Actually, I think you gave me the idea, and I think I was going to do it on Juan Laporta.
Juan Laporte? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll write that down. Is that a deal? Is that what we're going to do?
It's a deal. If it's okay with the boss, it's okay with me.
It's fine with me. So you heard it here first. Keith Desire is going to do a feature fighter next week. Juan Laporte. So good. That's a good one, man. Maybe we should even try and get him on the line or something. I might reach out to him. So that would be cool. But Keith, great job. Look forward to you next week, my man.
All right, bud.
All right, take care. That's Keith Desire doing a great job with the feature fighter. And like always, and I'm telling you right now, be prepared to get some good stuff from him in the upcoming weeks. That's for sure. Hey, listen, I got to take a break. We're going to try this again, man. We didn't have a break last time because our brake system broke.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out there. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
Beat Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh? What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. You're watching it on the Fight Now channel. That's right. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Combat sports. It's here right now, and it's called Fight Now. What you got to do is call your local television provider and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your lineup. It's that simple. Every night is Fight Night on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out their website for the latest listings, www.fightnow.com. Chat room's hopping today, and we got Coach is making some interesting points. You know, he says, and they're talking about training and fighters and everything. He says the fighters always have to be ready to get that call. And you know, the thing is this. I know a couple of trainers and teams that, you know, I try to get our guys to emulate some of the trainers that I work with and stuff. You know, to have the guys ready all the time. And, Coach, man, you're the man, because that's what I say all the time. To be ready, to be physically ready, to be ready for that fight nobody wants to take, that 2-week notice, that 1-week notice, that fight that their guy dropped out or something happened, and now they're looking for a guy, and they're in desperate mode, and they're looking at the last minute. Some fighters even wait, and they try and catch a guy that's out of shape, that may be able to suffer and make weight and get in the ring. And nobody needs to know that you have your fighters all ready, waiting for that phone call. And you can hem and haw and say, I don't like taking short notice, blah, 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 but we'll take it. And then you go in there in great shape, ready to roll. And that's when you get those upsets and get the opportunities of knocking. And that's the key. I think today we have, just like anything in life, if you don't prepare yourself for it, what are you going to do? In boxing, it's even worse. Any sport, you got to prepare. You got to prepare. Something that Mark Sanchez apparently isn't doing. The mystery man, Mustafa Amin. I'm sick of hearing about this guy. Everybody's throwing him under the bus, man. Who the hell cares? You know what? I look at it this way. The commission gave him a credential. However he got the credential, and whatever decision the commission made to give him a credential falls on them. Why he was walking around and all of that stuff, who knows? But I'll get to that in a second. Tomas Adamek was quoted yesterday, or actually the day before, saying, I will never just fight for the money. Don't think that I got my world title shot against Klitschko, and now I'm just going to look for paydays and stuff. No, that's not the type of fighter I am. I will never just fight for money. I am fighting to win. End of story. I love Tomas Adamek. That's the way it should be. Kell Brook. We knew that this guy was going to be fighting. We knew that he was going to be fighting on March 17th. We didn't realize he was going to be fighting back in England. I know that he wanted to fight in England. I thought maybe we might see him on the undercard in New York City, since he had been here in the States in his last fight. But it was announced yesterday, it was made official, that he is fighting on March 17th in Sheffield, England, at the Motor Point Arena, and his opponent is Matthew Hatton. Now, the one thing I do disagree is he says, I'm going to prove that I'm the best welterweight in Britain, and I'm going to take care of Matthew Hatton to prove it. Kell Brook is ranked as one of the best welterweights in the world. I think it's a layup that he's the best welterweight in Britain. Now, there are some talented fighters in Britain. Don't get me wrong, but Kell Brook is on the world stage right now, in my opinion. We did talk about the fight between Paul Williams and Nobuo Yoshida, and we briefly talked about the co-main event, which is going to be Tavorius Cloud against Gabriel Campillo. I just want to say that I love this fight. And the reason why is because Tavorius Cloud does show all kinds of talent. And Dax and I got into an argument on air about Tavorius Cloud, and then that argument carried onto the Friday night fights when we were up in South Glens Falls last week. And I want you guys to join us this week in South Glens Falls at the Halftime Bar and Grill. I'm going to be giving tickets away. We're going to give our first group of tickets for the Times Union Center event that's taking place on February 4th. We'll be giving them away at the Halftime Bar and Grill tomorrow night. So make sure you show up for that opportunity. Obviously have to get some trivia questions correct. But, I think Tavorius Cloud is another one of these Andre Bertos, another one of these Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s, another one of these Saul Alvarez's. What I mean is he's a young fighter that's got a world title right now. And he's developing before our eyes as a champion, which I just despise. I think boxing, that term, that title of being a world champion means that you've already paid your dues. You've already climbed that ladder, whatever, and you're a world champion. Now the way boxing is we maneuver you to a world championship, and then you develop as a champion, and I don't think that's right. I think that defeats the whole purpose of being a world champion. Back in the day, you fought, and back in the day to be, today, if you see somebody that's ranked number 8, how many times have you thought this? Now, I know most of my viewers and listeners are diehard boxing fans, except for the girls. I know that there's my fans. But, I mean, the thing is this. How many times have you, and honestly, I know you guys know your stuff, but honestly, you look at a ranking, you read an article, and you see so-and-so ranked number 12 by the ABC is taking on so-and-so who's ranked number 9, right? How often do you say to yourself, these guys aren't good, number 12, number 9, Now talk to me when they're a champion, talk to me when they're ranked number 1, talk to me then. Back in the day when there was only 10 ranked fighters, at least the top 10. There were more ranked fighters, but I'm saying top 10. There's only 10. There's not 5 sanctioning bodies that each of them have 10. So that's 50, right? We're talking 10. In the middleweight division, number 10 was the 10th best middleweight in the world. That was an accomplishment. To get to the top 10 was an accomplishment. Now the next goal is to be, you break the top 10. Now you want to be in 9, 5, 4, 3, 2. Number 1 contender fights the world champion. That's the way it was, man. That's the way it should be now. If you want to have value in contenders, you got to stop the dilution. Everybody has it's diluted. The champions are diluted. The contenders are diluted. The rankings are diluted. I'm diluted, for God's sake. It's just not the way it should be. Speaking of Friday night fights, I think we got a good one. Martin Kennedy against Christopher Martin tomorrow night. Listen, man, if you're not doing anything and you're within a drive's away from South Glens Falls, New York, which is about 20 minutes or so, half hour north of Albany, come on up to the Halftime Bar and Grill right on Route 9, South Glens Falls. I'll be glad to give you the directions that you punch into your your navigation system or MapQuest or whatever. And come up there and join us. The food is great there. The big screen TVs are good. We're going to be giving stuff away. We got a bunch of prizes to give out. We're going to have these tickets. Come on and hang out. We're going to be doing this every single Friday night. Now, I may not be there every Friday night, but somebody from the show will be. So I'm definitely going to be there tomorrow night. I think I'm going to be alone, so if there's any available female women that want to come and hang out with me, come on up. Even if you're not available, come on up. No, I'm only kidding. Bring your boyfriends, bring your husbands. Everybody come up. We want you guys to hang out with us and have a great time. And we always do. And last week they had some specials, man. They had a special up there food. I think it was a full prime rib dinner for like $11, $10.95, or maybe it was $11.95, something like that. Prime rib, potatoes, salad, the whole nine, man. You got to check out this place. Really. Email me if you need some information. Billy@talkingboxing.com. We got the Times Union fight going on February 4th in Albany. Star Boxing's doing it. What a great card that is. Joe the Future Hanks is on that card. Undefeated heavyweight. Get your tickets now. You can get information. You can go right to the box office by visiting our website, www.billycboxing.com. But anyway, that's what's cooking there. Did you catch the comments that Barry Hunter put out when about this Amir Khan? Amir Khan, David Allen is, I don't know if he likes Amir Khan or what, but I know a lot of UK fans didn't like Amir Khan for the longest time, and I think that they started coming around. They started liking him. But this whole situation, this whole situation is almost as sickening as the Pacquiao and Mayweather situation. I mean, Amir Khan cannot accept this defeat. I mean, he just cannot accept it. And he is blaming everybody else. And Barry Hunter finally made a long-winded statement yesterday that was released to the press, and we all got it. And I tell you, it hits home. And I think the bottom line was this part of the official statement. Now it's very intense and long. It's a whole page and everything else, but this is I think it sums it up. And this is Barry Hunter saying this concerning Amir Khan and his loss to Barry Hunter's fighter, Lamont Peterson. Hunter goes on to say, he says a bunch of things, but he says, Khan blames everyone and everything except his performance and lack of ability to make the adjustments in the ring for his loss. That is the most direct and agreeable statement, as far as I'm concerned, that anyone could say. I couldn't have said it better than the way Barry Hunter just said. The lack of ability to make the adjustments in the ring is a subliminal and a direct, I think, hit, and I agree with it, whether he meant to do a direct reference to Freddie Roach or not. That's certainly the way I'm taking it, and I agree with it. I think that Freddie Roach, as much as I regard Freddie Roach as probably the top trainer in the sport today, I think Freddie Roach gets an F for that fight. He failed Amir Khan because he didn't open his friggin' mouth in the corner. They did not make any adjustments during that fight. They acted as if that fight was an easy street. They were on easy street in that fight, and it was not. Despite people saying that Amir won and all this stuff, I don't care, man. The fight was too close. I think that Barry Hunter says it best when he said that sentence. Khan blames everyone and everything but his own performance and the lack of ability to make the adjustments in the ring. He goes on to say he claims that the ring announcer privately said he won, that the referee's discretionary actions should be overruled. Then the mystery man comes in and affected the outcome of the fight and blah, 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 blah. We all know this stuff. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Amir Khan is losing credibility in leaps and bounds. And then to make matters worse, Golden Boy comes out with the suggestion that we have Amir Khan versus Brendas Prescott, numero dos. Come on, man. Come on. That fight does nothing for Amir Khan. Amir Khan should move on to Timothy Bradley. Fight Timothy Bradley. Then go after Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson's in the driver's seat. Lamont Peterson's going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao. Lamont Peterson very well might slip right in and fight Floyd Mayweather. If I'm Team Mayweather and I'm trying to really get under the skin of Bob Arum, I take his leading candidate, his leading opponent away. You take Lamont Peterson and put him up against Floyd Mayweather. Not that I'm saying I want to see the fight, but if I'm Mayweather, and since me and Mayweather are paisans right now, or, you know, one of those, whatever that is, you know, I mean, the thing is this, you know, if I'm Mayweather, I say, you know what, let's get Lamont Peterson. Because now who leaves, what does that leave for Manny Pacquiao and Bob Arum? Miguel Cotto, number 2? None of us want to see that. None of us want to see another beating of Miguel Cotto. Juan Manuel Marquez against Manny Pacquiao, number 4. Do we want to see the same thing? We've seen 3. It's the same fight over and over. It's Groundhog Day in boxing. Do we want to see it a 4th time? You know, how about we sprinkle in Timothy Bradley? Okay, that's a viable fight. But you know what? Bob Arum hasn't built Timothy Bradley up yet, so maybe his revenue isn't as good. You know, the Lamont Peterson fight was a sleeper. It was a guy who just beat Amir Khan. They were going to take those shirt tails and take all of the publicity that Lamont Peterson has and fight Manny Pacquiao. You know, he already said he loves the backdrop. Both fighters coming from poverty, blah, blah, blah. If I'm Floyd Mayweather, I go for Lamont Peterson. If I can't have Manny Pacquiao, I go for Lamont Peterson. Forget Saul Alvarez. You know, Mayweather, you're already ducking Sergio Martinez. That's the guy you're ducking. I mean, I think you ducked Manny Pacquiao for years and years and years. I believe you now, Floyd. I believe that you want to fight Manny right now. And I also blame Bob Arum for the Manny Pacquiao situation, not fighting Floyd right now. I blame Bob Arum. So now I say, Mayweather, do a smart thing. Go after the guy that Bob Arum wants the most, and that's Lamont Peterson. You get nothing out of Saul Alvarez. I don't care, Cinco de Mayo. I don't care about the money he can generate in Mexico. Floyd, you can generate your own money in Las Vegas, and Lamont Peterson's the answer. It's called killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You'll almost force a fight with Pacquiao next, if you want. I don't know. Bobby Hits, man. He's back at the Horseshoe. Probably going to be putting on one of his typical one-sided cards. You know, Mike Molo. You know, when did Mike Molo become merciless Mike Molo? You know, I got to see Mike Molo fight one time, and he did a pretty good performance against the Polish guy. What was his name? Andrew Galata. I saw him at the Garden on the undercard of Roy Jones Jr. Tito Trinidad, and he put in a pretty good performance. He's a small guy. You know, Mike Molo would be a good fight against a guy like who's the guy that's Brian Minto. Brian Minto and Mike Molo would be a good fight. Another guy on that card is the fighter. He was a NABA champion, Yakubu the Black Mamba Amadou. He's 20 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. You know, they got all of these good. The Polish Prince was not on that card. That's somebody else's. Prentice Brewer is on this card. I'm sorry. and a bunch of young fighters. But you know what the problem with Bobby Hitz's card sometimes, most of the time, all the time, is that they never fight anybody tough, man. These guys are going to be, he's going to be on the card. He's going to have all these, the one side of the ledge is going to be all, decent fighters that you want to see, but the other side is going to be, well, not the same. Eddie Chambers and some other Philly fighters was hanging out with Kathy Duva and Gary Quinn, who's the senior director and of the new group, the NBC Sports Network, which just took over for Versus, or took over Versus, and now has become the NBC Sports Network. They're kicking off their inaugural fight. They have a fight night series. They're going to be kicking this one off at the end of the month in Philly, and they had the fighters there. And one of the issues one of the statements that Quinn made for NBC says, you could say, and I like this. He says, you can say, okay, you got the promotional platform, but you've got to have the product to make things work. He's talking about having, television, boxing on television work again. He says, we think we do. We came up with a model that resembled what Dr. Ferdy Pacheco did back in the day. The key is putting crossroads fights on. You don't need to worry about titles. You don't have to worry about records. All you want to do is make sure that you match styles with each, in the fight. You have to match the styles, and that will make a good show. And Quinn goes on to say, we feel that Kathy Duva and Russell Peltz have done a great job matching this card, and that's going to be the theme as we move on. I agree with him, man. I agree with him. I like Kathy Duva. I like her. I do. I'm going to take her to lunch. I never got to meet her in person. I think she's doing a great job, and I hope it works out for sure. And I don't know if we consider this network television or not, but it's close. It's the closest thing we have right now. So to tell you the truth, I think ESPN is close to network television as we get to. So anyway, we got Dave Murphy in the chat room right now wondering about this right now.
Wake up. It's time for the...
It's too early for a trivia question.
And today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question. Question is being sponsored by Star Boxing and the Times Union and the big fight that's taking place at the Times Union on February 4th. It's called the KO at the TU. And you can get tickets for that by visiting our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the fight poster, which is right on the front page. The other thing you can do about that fight is come on out to the Halftime Bar and Grill tomorrow night and watch Friday Night Fights with us. We got a good one, Tion Kennedy against Christopher Martin, and we will be giving away some tickets for that event, too. So we want you there, man. So be there or be square. Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question. Question is the same one as yesterday. It's the same one that we recycled, and I still don't have a correct answer. As a matter of fact, we're offering a bonus prize for anybody. In addition, we always give special prizes away to the Fight Now listeners. But this one, for anyone that can get this right and put people out of their misery. I don't know if Denny Black is still listening out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. But Denny, if you are, you got it right last time, man. When we first aired this question, you got it right. So put these guys out of their misery. When was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? When was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? Now, I know somebody else that knows this answer, and he's the guy that bails you out all the time, my man Lonnie Jackson, but I think he's being kind. I know that he knows the answer, and he's being nice to you guys by not answering it. So I want somebody else to win it. I'd love to have a Fight Now viewer win it, or someone that hasn't won. So go do your Google, and find out when the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer, and then email me that correct answer, Billy at TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, on this day, and speaking of on this day in boxing history is being brought to you by Campanero and Tomkovich. If you need an attorney and you're looking for maybe a will maybe, speaking of wills, if you're looking for a, beneficiary, email me and I'll give you the correct spelling of my name and my address and all that stuff so, I can get the money, when you kick the bucket. But if you're looking for that, if you're looking for real estate, you're looking for criminal, you're looking for matrimonial, you need to give Kemp and Aaron Tomkovich a call, 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Then on this day, January 12th, in 1993, Juan Kagi knocks out Morris East in the 8th round to regain his WBA World Junior Welterweight title, and that fight took place on this day, January 12th, in 1993, in Argentina. That concludes our day for today. Includes our show for today. Listen, tomorrow we're scheduled to have Marty Mulcahy on. We'll get his thoughts on this whole saga, plus the fights that took place last week, and of course, our fights that we got scheduled for the Billy C Challenge this week. If you're not part of the challenge, go up to our website, www.billycboxing.com, and enter the Billy C Challenge. We give away monthly prizes for whoever's in front, and we give away a grand prize at the end of the year, which is a great package. As a matter of fact, Rob Roberts won last year. Congratulations to him. And he's going to pick up his package at this year's Billy C Boxing Hall of Fame weekend. So stay tuned for information on that. But the most important thing to remember, you know what it is? Tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. There's only one channel, man. It's called the Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider right now and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added to your lineup. Check out their website for all the information about the channel, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.